Hi, that's the introduction to this video. I'm going to apologise for the poor quality craftsmanship on the video, but I just couldn't think. Maybe this will be good enough to actually put onto YouTube, but who knows, it might end up in the scrap bin. Right, so very quickly, this is the YM2149F synth that we're selling at Dan's Thing, and that's how it should look when, if you've built it or if you've bought it already built, it should come looking like that. And so I just wanted to go through how the voices are put together. So you've got your MIDI socket there, and you play channel 1 and a noise comes out, but what is actually coming out? So it was just a run through of how it basically works. So there's 3 outputs on this chip. On the YM2149F chip, it's got 3 outputs and a noise generator. So basically all of those are wired together, so we've got one output, audio output, but we can trigger those individually through software, and it's just to explain how those 3 voices are blended, because it is just a square wave generator, so it's never going to do anything more fancy than that really, other than this does play samples. But the actual tone generator on this, just all it does is produce a square wave. So there's some things we can do by blending all 3 channels and sort of delaying and offsetting, and that kind of creates an oscillation within that, and you can do some little bits and bobs, some little sneaky bits around that. So that's enough waffling. What we're going to do is, oh, actually, before I go on these, you may have noticed there's this expansion port here, so you can actually plug an OLED display into these, and there is a positive and minus. So you've got, it's like 2 wires, you've got SDA, SCL for the data and the clock, and plus and minus. And so that's what I've got here. This is the workshop version with ZIF socket, so I can take the chips in and out. And so when you buy one, I put all the chips in here, program them, check it works, test it, make sure it's sounding good, and then I proceed to build your board. So I've already wired up an I2C OLED display, so I'm just going to zoom into that. When I press reset, it boots up, it tells us, even tells us while the flash screen was showing, that it was MIDI channel 5 producing all those noises, which was quite interesting. So let's have a little, I don't know, I can't remember how I've had this set up, but if I just fire away. Right, so this is MIDI channel 2, and looking at the screen here, the noise is being generated by output B of the chip. So if I change the MIDI channel down to 1 and play again, right, so that's using output A and output B. So I could play, I could send, it means I can play 2 things at once if I use MIDI channel 1 and 2. So let's try MIDI channel 3, and that's output C. So we could play 3 different melodies at once using MIDI channels 1, 2 and 3. And that's assuming that you're playing a note the whole time, so it might be that your song or whatever only uses channel 1 for the first bit and it doesn't use it in a chorus or whatever. So you can use more than the 3 channels just to spread out your songwriting. Right, hold on then. So let's have a look at MIDI channel 4. Now I don't know if the camera's picking that noise up, but it's kind of phasing, and I happen to know that there's a slight delay, so it's releasing the square waves not at the same time. So, and in this case it's output A and B at the same time on note 62, which it shows us here which note's being played. This is the output and this is the MIDI channel. So that's 4. Right, and now we've got all 3 outputs playing at the same time in one voice. And it does make, it's obviously got 3 outputs, so it's 3 times louder, and we can bring some phasing and delay stuff in when we actually get the note to play, which is all in the Arduino code, and it's all pretty well labelled in there if you're brave enough to have a go, which I didn't know anything about it, and then I've had a go, and it's sort of just have to keep plugging away at it. Right, so channel 6. So this is just channel A again on its own, but it's in the Arduino code, the octave has been changed, so it's more of like a bass, and it is a cracking square wave. Oh, right, 6. Right, and silence. No noise comes out. Interesting. See, I don't quite understand why that is at the moment, I'll be honest with you. So that's 8, and then there are no more channels apart from 10, which is, I believe it's 10 actually from memory. Which has got the samples on it. Although I might have actually disabled those in this piece of code. Oh no. That's right, yeah. You can move these about on the keyboard in the code. I think I've moved that up an octave. But that doesn't appear in the MIDI screen. It only shows the 8 channels and what note is being played. Alright, that's it for now. And these are just pretty standard OLED screens. By the time this video goes up, I will add the new Arduino code that will drive the I2C screen, and I'll put the pinouts, what pin goes to what, the pin numbering, so you can just add a pin header to that, 8-pin header. I'll just solder some wires in. Alrighty then, thanks very much.